Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Jeremias JMan Maneiro with JMan Seminars with our latest edition of MilleniWHO, where we're inspiring others through real stories from real estate agent rock stars from all across the country. And we're here with Erica Rose Siegel. Did I say it correctly? Did I say it right?
You sure did.
Okay. First of all, just thanks for being here. It's going to be an exciting day. Why don't we just start with introductions? You know, who you are, where you're from, and just a little bit about your background, like how you got started in real estate.
Yeah, so my name is Erica Rose Siegel, and some of you also know me as IRON Realtor. And I have been with Exit Kingdom Realty since 2009. How I got into real estate was I used to work with the American Cancer Society, and Vincent Koo, the broker owner of Exit Kingdom, was one of my volunteers. Actually, 2008, excuse me. And back in 2008, when everybody was losing their job, I was one of those people. And so I went to the broker and I said, who do you know that's hiring? Thinking he could introduce me to some rich person that I could be their admin for. And he's like, no, that's not your skill set. And he said, why don't you sell real estate? And I said, Vincent, that sounds like a great idea. And I have no idea how to sell anything. And his response was, Erica, you sold thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in a cure for cancer. And we bought a lot of it. So you could definitely sell a home. So I've been with Exit Kingdom Realty and Vincent Koo ever since. It's been an amazing journey, exciting, challenging, educational.
2008, you said?
Yeah.
So 2008 was an interesting time in real estate. Of all times to start, this industry is going way down. Why don't we get started in this thing, see what happens? So why don't you talk a little bit about, like, what was that first year like? Because it couldn't have been amazing, right? I mean, it's 2008. Everybody's leaving the industry, and you decided to get into it.
Right. So my first 6 months, I was part-time because I honestly didn't really trust the process. I was kind of like, well, this is really scary. Working on commission when people are getting laid off, I don't really think that's the greatest idea on the planet. And so I took another job, and then after like 6 months of being with that job and earning a salary, which was pretty substantial along with bonuses, I went to an Exit Realty convention, and I sold one house in 6 months. And one house, that's it. And then I went to an Exit Realty convention, and I heard people speak, and they're sharing these stories. Like, there's this blind realtor, like, selling real estate she can't see. And there's another woman who, Valerie Reyes, who had, a few kids and just like single mom, and she's rocking it. I'm thinking to myself, and there's so much great energy in the room. And I just said, all right, that's it, I quit. I literally walked into my boss the next day, didn't really have much of a plan other than I knew that I wanted to be in real estate. I wanted to be around this amazing energy. So I remember saying to Vincent, I really want to do this full time, but I don't actually have a salary. Could you pay me one? He said, no. And I said, well, because I don't know if I could afford to like be in this industry, and maybe you could just give me a draw, like a commit, like draw against commission, because that's what my other job did. I said no. So when I showed up the next day after seeing like so much amazing energy and awards and training and all this, and I see like a little bit of a glare. Is this better? No, better. Okay, I think. Yeah. So I then said, okay. I walked into the office next day, and he's like, Erica, I can't pay you. I said, I know, I got it. And I sold a house my first day. Literally went to work. Somebody called and I sold it. Now, keep in mind, it never actually closed because there was something with the mortgage and the industry and it didn't work. But my first day, got in the car showing homes and I sold a house, right? It was pretty awesome. And my first 12 months in the industry, I grossed just shy of 100,000. And right? Someone's writing, why won't it play? Do you know what that means?
Somebody's writing what?
Why won't it play? I don't know what that means, but I just figured I'd tell you. I want this to play for everyone, right?
Yeah, it's typically a problem on their end.
Okay, cool. I just figured I'd tell you, right?
Yeah.
I'm listening. I'll let you manage that. Okay. So, and then, the first year it was pretty amazing because, to be honest, I didn't really barely have more than 6 months of savings. I think I had like 3 or 4 months of savings in my bank account. And I went into an industry where it's kind of like, I hope that this all works out. And I more just went like, I'm just going to go be of service. I'm going to go help people. I'm going to go make a difference. I'm going to go just like enjoy what I'm doing. And just by enjoying and taking care of others and having fun, the money just flowed. There was no concern. I didn't worry about how my mortgage was going to get paid and me being number one in the office. Like that wasn't there my first year. And then all of a sudden, you know, it kind of showed up later. But my first year was just fun. My second year was just, you know, just helping people, loving people, and bringing lots of energy.
So I mean, one thing I like about that, because I think a lot of agents and a lot of people that will be watching this later on are in the same boat, that they start in real estate and it's hard. It's so hard to cut the strings to that real job that they think about as a real job, but really. And when people, you know, I've been working strictly commission since I was 19 years old, and they go, wow, strictly commission, but what if you don't sell anything? And I say, well, what if you don't do your job? What happens? You get fired.
Right.
Right? So, you know, kudos to you to really commit. And it took you hearing some success stories from other agents, and hopefully there's going to be agents now watching your story who are going to say, you know what, Erica can do it, and so can I.
Yeah.
You know, because she quit that job and she got, you know, first year in the business, 6 figures.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
IRON Realtor. Let's talk a little bit about that, where it came from. You know, I'm big into fitness myself, so I know a little bit about it, but I want you to share this story because it's so fantastic.
Of course. So back in 2010, I believe, I was setting some goals. 2010, 2011. I was setting some goals. I had an amazing real estate coach named Erica Nasby. Joy plus process equals results. Her and her father, Bill, are big into knocking doors, going door to door looking for business. And, you know, I was making money, but I was not ever achieving like extraordinary results. And I found that I wanted to take my life, my business to the next level. So I had set as a goal for the following year that I was going to run a marathon, never had. I was going to, you know, do something to, you know, find a cure for cancer or do something to make a difference in the realm of cancer. I did work for the American Cancer Society prior to selling real estate. And my uncle was recently diagnosed with multiple myeloma. And I kind of thought I was immune to the whole cancer thing because I did my time working with American Cancer Society. And that's not true. Everyone can be impacted by cancer. So,
question.
And then the third reason was this goal was like the previous year, had broken up with a guy that I was dating. Things were awesome. And then my birthday kind of sucked that year. So I was like, I am going to go run a marathon for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. And I'm going to do it in Paris. And I've never run more than 3 miles in my life. So, but I'm going to do it.
Hold on. Time out. So most people say, okay, I'm going to go run a 5K. I'm going to do a half marathon. You just said, I'm going to do a marathon and forget about doing it locally because you live in one of the best cities on the planet. You decided, let's go to Paris, France? Yeah. Paris, France to run it. I mean, that's being specific, right? And putting your goals. I love it. Okay, so continue. I'm sorry.
So I did that. It's okay. So I did that. I noticed, kind of like similar to real estate, there's certain steps we know to do as a realtor. Like we know to prospect, we know to follow up, we know to check our numbers. We like know to do that. We know to clear our mindset before we get on the phone. We know to get a good night's sleep. We know to write a business plan. We know to create accountability partners. So my running coach gave me like different techniques. And I did what I wanted to do. You know, it's kind of, I'm an expressive, if you study, you know, personality styles or an I. So I went like, oh, so I'm supposed to run and do some other cross training. Well, I don't have time for all that. I'm just going to do the running thing. So I ran, and 2 weeks before the marathon, I could barely walk because I was only running. And it's like pushing yourself to the goal that you want, but not realizing that there's maybe 10 steps to getting there. And I did like the running. So I did my marathon in Paris. Needless to say, it was painful. But I did it, right? And I did it, and I said to myself, I raised the money. People have been telling me a few days before, if you don't do this, I'm actually not going to give you my donation. I want it back because I was so excited. I'm like, what? So that like all these people rallying towards me, had me get towards that finish line. And I crossed the finish line. And it was rough because the most I'd ever ran was 10 miles and I did 26.2 that day. And then after that, I said, well, this has been fun. I'm never doing it again. A few months later, changed my mind, did a bunch of other races. And then I said, you know, I want to take it like up here. I'm going to go like really, really exceed my goals. So I said, let me try an Ironman. So I decided to be smart about this. Let me do a half first. And I even broke my foot for training for the first one, walking into a bathroom, not doing anything else. So I'm not training. Yeah, right. And then I've done this year, I did my third, and the whole Ironman is kind of, or Iron Realtor is kind of like, you have to be made of iron in this business. You have to have like abs of steel, buns of steel, arms of steel. You've got to have steel in you and emotion. Right. But there's so many things that could happen along the way. And so I became this Iron Realtor where it's like, okay, you're going to give me an obstacle, a challenge. It's not going to get appraised. You know, the home inspection is not going to go through. The buyer is going to get rejected by the co-op. All these steps, but I'm going to keep going. And the swim, bike, run, I mean, there was all those components. I did it. And, you know, I did a race this year, which was my third one. And that was by far the most memorable half Ironman I've ever done, given what brought me there and what was in my head right before I got to the race.
That's it. So how many did you do total, like from when you first decided that you wanted to do it to this most recent one?
I've done 3, and each one had their own experiences. And I was actually disqualified this year simply because I was so cold. And part of the race, I actually got cut off of my time, but it kind of reminds me of like when we're going to be buying a home or selling a home. And then all of a sudden you have a closing date and then something happens and you're like, oh, I give up. I don't want to do the extension. I'm not going to pay for it. I'm not going to pay the extra money to get a reappraisal. I'm not going to do that. But I didn't let what was happening stop me from achieving my goal, which was to cross that finish line in honor or in memory of people who battled cancer. I was doing it this year for the Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation.
So regardless of what was happening, why don't you tell us a little bit about your story? You know, you're the Iron Realtor, going strong. And anytime we're on a path and we're doing well, there's going to be obstacles along the way. There's going to be things that try to knock us off our path. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened in your life to try to knock you off your path?
Yeah. So the most recent, I guess I could say, challenge, obstacle that really knocked me off my past was a past relationship, right? So prior to a recent relationship I was in, I always wanted like the happily ever after. And I always wanted this guy that was super supportive of my life and my business and was understanding of my quirky personality style and that I wasn't super responsible with finances. Like I paid bills, but didn't always know my numbers, my stats in regards to real estate. Wanted to have a family, like wanted all that. And if I doubted myself, I wanted them to be like, yeah, you're awesome. And well, that's what showed up. It's a person who did all of that, cheering me on every step of the way. Unfortunately, there was parts of our relationship that were not operating with integrity. And I discovered after being engaged that within 2 weeks that he stole my identity. Yeah. And this is my first time sharing this. So I'm really like publicly. So I'm really grappling with the right words to say. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I thought I had created, I was left with, once I discovered the damage after we broke up, $85,000 worth of charges that I did not authorize. And after getting, and trying to figure out in our entire relationship, even though it looked so wonderful on the outside, on the inside, there was something that wasn't right and I didn't know why. And after going to speak with a therapist, discovering that I was in a toxic relationship, we'll just leave it at that. And it was tough, right? And I had to really ask myself, I spent 4 months like fighting with creditors, trying to be amazing for my clients, but avoiding creditor phone calls, my mindset, like total insecurity, frustration. And I had to dig deep. And what I actually ended up creating out of this, because I'm sure there's plenty of women and men that are in experiences where they're in a relationship, even whether it's a client or a family member or a friend, and it's toxic and they don't know how to get out. They don't know any better. They don't even realize that those behaviors are unacceptable because sometimes you're so far in that you don't recognize it and you don't know how to speak out. You don't know, you're afraid, you're embarrassed, you're worried what people might think of you. I'm a realtor, I'm very public. Like, I should just settle for, you know, the somewhat inappropriate things because it looks so great on the outside. And once it hit me what I really was involved in after we broke up, I created like a big practice around gratitude. Like, I have on me, I don't know if you can see it, it says choose happy. It might come out backwards, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I see it.
That's my journal I've been writing in since October. Every day I wake up and I write what I'm grateful for. I write letters to God and I write affirmations. And let me tell you, God and I never spoke until this situation. And I didn't, when we first started speaking, I wasn't very nice to him. And then I found power in just doing this. So every morning, this is a practice I create. I also write thank you notes. I have thank you notes on me. And yeah, and finding gratitude in everything. Gratitude in Chapter 7 bankruptcy, because after 4 months, that's what I had to file. Gratitude that I got the opportunity to be a stepmom to 3 kids, right? That I didn't know that I was supporting them, paying child support, car payments, car insurance. I didn't know any of that. And gratitude in that I have the tools and the skill sets because of our industry to make a difference in the lives of others, and recognize that because of what I went through, and instead of being in despair and discouraged, like finding power and love and gratitude and confidence in everything, that I can write a next chapter. Like, that's why they call it Fresh Start, Chapter 7 bankruptcy. And, you know, it is a fresh start. And when I finally see and I look back, and every day I have alarm on my phone 3 times a day, it says, be grateful. And yesterday a buyer lost her job, and after we were under contract, I was like, oh my gosh, I so need this money. Nope. I need to go be of service and find out what happened over there. And then I just checked in with her. I was like, you're awesome. Like, I'm sorry this happened to you. And then the same thing with the seller. I'm sorry this is happening. And within hours, we already had another buyer for her lined up because my team member was awesome and kept track of things for me. Yeah.
I mean, just be happy. That's amazing, you know. So I guess people don't realize, like, as real estate agents, like, we're real people.
Yeah.
Right? And like you said, every day, like, we have to be the strong person for our clients.
Yeah.
And just tell me a little bit more about what was it like, you know, you're going through this tragedy. Like, you thought, like you said, you were happily ever after.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden this hits you. Get the phone call from your client wondering about the showing yesterday, and you still have to schedule showings for your client that wants to see these houses. Time there's creditors calling, and you're trying to figure out what you're going to do with your life. Like, what is that like? Like, explain that.
It was awful. Like, I walked into my office many a times and running into a bathroom crying because I had another creditor call me about another charge. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I didn't purchase this or this or this, and I don't have the money to pay for this or that or this. And it was awful. And then I found myself looking at clients and hoping that they would sell or buy because I needed the money. And I paid off $15,000 in 4 months, but it wasn't enough. It was too, like, the actual mindset of trying to be there, be of service for others when I'm just underwater. Emotionally, physically, financially, like, not knowing. And I'm taking it out on everyone. And I could notice it was awful. And then, of course, no trust. Like, I don't trust people. Says, oh, well, I'm going to go help you. Even I have an amazing credit repair specialist, Solomon El-Ghazi from Credit Services. He was helping, but I'm kind of like, I got to take the calls myself because I don't know if he's going to really do it. And what if he doesn't? I mean, and then my bankruptcy attorney, like, are they going to do it right? Let me read everything, because if they make a mistake, I mean, I was engaged to someone that, like, I trusted, you know? And, you know, and then my clients, they make an offer, and are they really going to move forward? Because, you know, if I trusted this person, how can I trust, like, somebody I barely know, like a client? You're telling me your truth about your finances? Yeah, right. And I came at it, like, so negative, and I was like, something has to shift. And he actually sent me 4 bouquets 5 vases to my office of flowers, $500, right, on my credit card. And my broker said to me, you have to actually dead flowers, like the vases were gross. And I'm like, sure, I'll take the glass and slam it on the way out like a Jewish wedding, which was my first response. And then I was like, and then someone's like, no, you're going to go home and you're going to fill one with gratitude, one with wins, one with blessings, one with letters to God. I'm like, huh? And I did exactly that. And I posted it on my Facebook page or Instagram like a week ago that I literally, my home is, all the vases are filled with gratitude right now and letters to God. And it's awesome. And I find myself like, even when things aren't working out, I mean, we were on the phone less than, 20 minutes, 30, 40 minutes ago. And I'm like, oh my God, technology's not working. I'm like, I'm so grateful you're patient. I'm so grateful I have a computer, I have working internet, I can breathe, I have food in my belly, I'm hydrated. She believed she could, so she did. That's what this says. And I'm so grateful. And I was like, or I could be pissed off and angry. And I was like, there's a choice, right? Somebody just asked me, how do I remain so strong? Like, you can choose. And as I used to say to the kids, like, I used to say I had this opportunity. I'm 38, right? Like, oh my gosh, thank you, Sean. I used to say to the kids, like, you have a choice. Like, you can look up to the sky, there's all these clouds, and you can choose anger, frustration, you can choose disappointment, resentment. Those are the clouds, right? You can give them all names. You can just be like, grateful, 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 love, abundance. And so then I started writing. I'm committed to writing a book called Gratefully Ever After and creating a movement called Gratefully Ever After. And literally being the realtor that's actually known for, you're going through the process of moving, and how many of our clients that we don't even realize could also be in domestic situations that are not healthy. And we just are like, let's get that check and get going. And I'm like, hold on, why are they a little challenged right now? What's going on? Right. And so my commitment is to actually almost create like a team of realtors and professionals. It could be like other people. I know that Beth Lowe has gone through something like this. I know that there's other people that have gone through, other realtors have shared with me that they could be a resource, maybe a sounding block for other realtors or other clients, that they can get out of this home. Because in other countries, Chapter 7 bankruptcy doesn't exist. You go to jail. You go to debtor's prison. A check bounce, you go to jail. It's not an option. So I'm so grateful, like, to be a realtor, that it's crappy that this happened to me. It is, but I could choose crap and disappointment. Sorry for the French. Or I could choose like joy and abundance and just keep writing a new chapter. Yeah, and that's what Gratefully Ever After is all about. So
for those who might chose the low road and say, this stinks, this is awful, there's bad traffic today, my deal canceled. Like, obviously it's a skill that you've developed now because you practice it every day, like, things you practice. How do you find just the smallest things? Like, what are you grateful for? Just give us like a daily rundown, not everything that you're grateful for, but just like you're thankful you woke up this morning, I would imagine, right? We all should be. That's a start.
Yeah, right. So what's really funny is that people think I've mastered it. I certainly haven't. And before I go to bed every night, I actually chose to be in gratitude because, I also still go on Facebook and I look and I'm like, wow, that person is on vacation. They bought a house. They are like going on a date. I'm not. I'm looking, knowing I filed for bankruptcy during the holidays and like wondering, like feeling bad going to holiday parties and can't bring anything and like wearing the same dress maybe over and because some of my clothes are still at his house, and I go, hold on, stop, time out, pity party's over. I got 30 seconds. There's so many practices. I read Mel Robbins' book, The 5-Second Rule, extraordinary human being. I read Jen Sincero, How to Be a Badass, or You Are a Badass, excuse me. Thank you, Hector Castillo, regional owner of Exit Realty, for introducing me to that. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. So I've read that and I listened to it on Audible. It plays. So if what we call this from the Mike Ferry training, they call that internal dialogue the drunk monkey, right? So the drunk monkey goes off all day. Even if you've hit your goals, it's still going. It's like, well, I could have done more. And what's going on? And do I look okay? Does my hair look okay? So instead of having that playing, I just turn on The Miracle Morning for Real Estate Agents. I turn on Rocky. I actually recorded some of my letters to God on my phone so that I could hear my voice and know that that's me. I did that. And my letter started out by like, you are some, and I had some words for him. And I was like, hold on. You know, he obviously created this world. And if you don't believe in God, you believe in a higher power in some universe, like, go believe, have faith. The worst that can happen is you'll be happy about it. You'll be grateful. And you asked me about what I'm grateful for. So I could pick anything. I even do a green. Like, if I'm on the phone with someone when my alarm goes off, I say, oh, it's 4 o'clock, time to be grateful. And sometimes they're like, what are you talking about? I said, I'm grateful for the shoes on my feet. I'm grateful for the fact that I woke up this morning. I'm grateful for that I made 225 contacts last week, which is the most amount of contacts, 225 live conversations, which is more contacts than I've ever made ever in 1 week, and scheduled 0 appointments from it until Sunday at like 6 or 7 p.m. when I started writing to God and say, please give me a sign that I did it right. Please help me. Because I wrote and I was like asking for guidance, asking for support, asking for something, because I'm like, how did I do all this work? And nothing came of 225 contacts. Like, I had other business. And then within less than 20 minutes, I got a referral of someone who's selling and buying, someone else who was looking to list their apartment for rent, and someone else who was looking to rent a place. He said, well, I just gave it up to the universe. Yeah. And I'm grateful.
Part of it is your activity breeds activity, right? So like, for the agents that might be watching right now, it's like, don't just sit there and wait for something to happen. If you hear Erica's story, like, she went out and made it happen. It's not a like, please somebody save me. She's there. She's grateful. She's doing it. She's active, and she's making it happen. As a matter of fact, if you're watching this right now, like it, and you need to share it, whether you're watching it on YouTube or whether you're watching it on Facebook, you need to share it so that we can get the message out there, because we're talking with Erica Rose Siegel, future published author of a book called Gratefully Ever After, hashtag, right? Yeah. Gratefully Ever After. Eternally grateful. I mean, such a great message. Let's say this for the new agents that might be watching. What kind of advice would you give to the young Erica from 2008 who just quit her job? She's getting started in real estate. Like, knowing now the wisdom that you have and that you've acquired through experience, like, what kind of message would you have for her and or the new agent out there?
Yeah,
getting started.
A couple of things. I'm so glad you asked. Immediately create a contact relationship. Purchase a contact relationship manager. CRM, top producer. Not like a Google track. Google Docs. Like I'm talking, or Excel spreadsheet, but get one of those with little reminders to tell you to follow up and send birthdays and anniversaries and closings, and just, oh, you told me about this. Get one of those. Invest. Also, accountability. Get a coach. Professional athletes have coaches. Go get one. They're awesome. Be with a company that makes you happy. Totally. If you're not happy, get out and go find one. Like, I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity to have residual income from my company. So in addition, when I was not feeling like getting in the car, I got residual income from Exit Realty because of the people I introduced. And if I knew that there was something that a company offered, go get that. In addition, also, what was some other? Oh, know your numbers. So truthfully, I mean, this happened because I was kind of so busy in my fairy tale lifestyle that I just was like, oh, bills are coming. Oh, but I have kids to manage, and I have happiness to create, and I got to go be of service and take care of clients. And I'm sure there's plenty of us, because I've spoken to people that are like, my wife handles the finances. My husband handles the finances. I haven't opened a bill in a few months, but I know everything's okay because I got to go feed you. Because if you call me and I don't return your call fast enough and you're not a friend or family member, I'll go to someone else. Know your numbers. How many properties are under contract? And own them. Be proud. I made 225 contacts last week. Like, I didn't schedule a listing appointment. So what? Be proud. Work on your mindset. Oh, it's actually coming off. What are you grateful for? Literally, the alarm is going off right now. How cool is that? Stop. I'm grateful for this right here. Like, so grateful, because this is just the beginning.
This is just the beginning. So yeah. One more thing that you did mention in your first year in real estate, part of your success, and you may not have realized you said it, but that you loved what you did. You loved what you did, and then that made you a success. And I know when people say, they call it cliche, but if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And I think many of us, you have to love real estate. If you've been in real estate longer than any amount of time, like you have to love it, or you should love it or leave it, like they say, right?
Yeah, for sure. And there are moments, Jeremiah, that there are parts of this industry that I don't love. That I'm sure I don't love paperwork. I don't love when a homeowner gets angry and takes it out on me. I don't love that. And I can go, well, what can I be grateful for right now? I have contacted this many people. I have earned this much money. So yes, I get to pay this amount of taxes. I have I'm so busy and overwhelmed, and I have 100 agents in my office, so I can go feed them. Or if I have zero business, I have 100 agents in my office, and I can go ask them how I can be of service. Like,
right.
So if you don't love it, and I'm talking, if you notice you're not in a good mindset, you're trying to go sell a house, shift it. Choose happy. Be grateful. Say thank you.
Erica, I just want to thank you so much for sharing your story with us and the world. Hopefully, this will be shared across all channels so that we can get the word out there. Don't forget, it started here first. Eternally grateful. # eternally grateful. Erica Rose Siegel. Anything you want to say in closing? Last message here to everybody.
Yeah. So believe in yourself. And don't be willing. I'm sorry. If you are in a situation in your business, in your life, in your relationship, and you're not feeling super happy, you're not empowered, you're not feeling comfortable, you don't feel healthy, you know that there's something off, go get in communication with somebody that you trust and be honest. Because when you do that and you instead take away the fear and the worry and concern of what people are going to think of you. I mean, I'm on this Facebook Live talking about Chapter 7 bankruptcy. I'm a realtor. I manage people's money every day. And I go, just, find and replace all those negative feelings and share and allow people to contribute to you and make a difference. And literally over and over, create a practice of gratitude. You can. There might not be, because some people don't think happily ever after exists. I do. You just have to find gratitude in your life and be gratefully ever after so that you can have your happily ever after. And it's not about money. It's not about money. Because when you are grateful for the food in your fridge and the friends in your life and the business opportunities that you get to create, people notice they want to be around people who have good energy. Then the money will flow. Yeah, and it's here. Just love everything about your life. And if you don't surround yourself with more people, accountability, so much so you can be your mission. My mission is to be gratefully ever after. So if you hear anything less, because it might show up, I'm a human, right? Then be like, Erica, no pass. No pass. It doesn't matter that you don't have money in your bank account right now. It doesn't matter that 5 deals fell apart. No pass. You're gratefully ever after. So let's go. 5-second rule. Rock on. That's that.
So if you see Erica out there, you're in the New York metro market, make sure you hold her accountable. But also just, if you're in real estate, just know any of the YPNers or anybody you can reach out to. It doesn't have to be an actual real estate coach or a life coach. We're all supportive of one another. We all want each other to succeed. I think that's what's great about the next gen, or the generation now, we like to call it, is that we're all so willing to help one another. And just know that, yeah, we're in competition, but the rising tide raises all boats, and we need to work together and overcome all obstacles.
Yeah. I totally see that in this industry. And even I'm just so grateful for you, Jeremiah, to give me this opportunity to share.
My pleasure.
I was saying I wanted to do this too, and there it was. It showed up. So be out looking. And I'm grateful for my clients. I just want them to know that, because there were moments where I was a little off, right? And my friends and family, but they stood by me. So I don't know. It's it gives me chills that I can be here. So yes, and trust, just go speak to people and create a mission and own it.
All right. Again, thank you, Erica. And if you're watching here, please send us some love. Hit the like, hit the love button, share this across all channels. We're going to give her a standing virtual
Wow, I love.
Thanks so much. Again, this will be on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/JManSpeaks, or on our Facebook page. Be sure to like and subscribe. And again, Erica, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're an amazing person. Keep on keeping on. We love you.
Love you too. Thank you.
Still going. 1 second here.
So then I'll still smile and maybe